Hello again, everyone. Edwin Learnard back once again in this YouTube segment. I'm going to be talking about people ignoring us. And the thing about this is, we deal with people being oblivious to us, people that are close, supposedly close to us, whoever they may be, friends, acquaintances. Many of us deal with this on a day-to-day basis. I am one of them, sadly. Sometimes I'll even ignore people. A lot of times I don't want to respond to people when they write me fear. It might be somebody just asking for astrological insight or what have you. The thing about it is, we have a tendency. I notice now I'm not stereotyping or saying everybody by any means, but I'll notice you'll have a lot of people that they stick with their group and they have their people can be very clannish and they have their own group that they want to be in, and whether it's astrology or what have you. And they sometimes it's just the fact that people become complacent. They don't want to go outside their group. There's a lot of YouTube astrologers out there. I don't really correspond with many of them. Some of that can be because those people may have become set with the people they wanted to engage with, and I may have even become set myself in the same matter. There's some people that are just very arrogant that might feel they're too good, to really to talk to any to certain people that certain people might be beneath others, at least in their mind and perception. Funny thing is, like what I'm dealing with now, it's interesting. I don't know if anybody else has experienced this. It's almost like everybody, most of the people in my life, figuratively speaking, has gone dead simultaneously. I had like out of 7 posts I had made on Facebook, I had in addition to me, there was only one like on the 7 posts from another person. And I don't mean there were 7 total likes from that person. I mean there was one in addition to me. So in other words, there were 7 posts up, and there were 8 total likes on it, including what I did, which of course I religiously like my post because it assures me that somebody will like them. And the thing about it is we don't really understand why some people will give other people attention that might that might really could care less about those people that they're getting the attention from. They might be everything but oblivious to those people, or their feelings may be apathetic toward that person. But there's just a lot of things in life that we will never really understand. You know, life doesn't make any sense, and being a nice person, doesn't guarantee you're going to have a significant other. I'm 50 years old, going to be 51 this year. I might go through the rest of my life without anybody, so a lot of it has to do with me. I mean, honestly, I've become, maybe somewhat reclusive. I don't really engage with people the way that I maybe need to. At the same time, I don't really get an overabundance of messages or letters from anybody. Might be pertaining to astrology, but it's not like I get a surfeit of emails from people that were even asking me about my living situation. I mean, I don't really remember the last time somebody even wrote me and asked me about that. It's just like we become very cold and callous as a society. I have Saturn on my ascendant, so maybe that plays a role in my unpopularity with people. Yes, I know I get certain viewership on the astrology channel and this and that, but that, you know, it's not the same thing as the actual engagement with others. And sometimes people will shun us, will ostracize us because of who we are. Uh, and I understand a lot of my Facebook friends are in relationships, so it might not be maybe a convenient thing to do to actually write me or correspond with me. So it's something where I've had to sadly get used to over the years, and people can write me, and so I'm guaranteed someone will probably respond to this to me, but I could almost guarantee it won't make a difference in my life, and it's just going to be basically what I have to deal with is day to day, not really having anybody in my life, being alone, and having to just cope with it. And the thing about it is, what's funny is the people that often will ignore us, you'll find in a lot of cases at some point, they may have actually needed us at one time later on. And the person that they ignore is not going to have the incentive or motivation to help that person out in their time of need. So it's something to just think about, people. It's like you're in a situation in your life where you feel like you've given someone the shaft, basically, and it's somebody that had been a friend to you at some point, and for whatever reason, you might have inexplicably just stopped corresponding with him, or it's something to think about as far as, how those actions might hurt that person that you've ignored. And the fact is, you might really need that person later on, and that person is not going to be, probably might not be anywhere to help you. Now, unless it's a very forgiving person that has a lot of compassion and is not somebody that's going to hold a grudge against you. And the thing about it is, it's really, it's sad what life has come to. I'll see people out there. I know that there's men out there that are less deserving than me, that have somebody. They have a family. They have someone to come home to. They have a very good life. There's men that don't really treat their women that well, and yet they manage to still, retain them for whatever reason, whether it's because the woman lacks the confidence to move forward or what have you. And people like me, sadly, because we're in such a materialistic, superficial society, I'm in a situation where I'm basically ignored on a day-to-day basis, and that's really what's happened. And because of where I'm at in my life, my stature in life, I don't really, there's just really, it's a lot harder for a person like me to actually have somebody that is going to be there for me. And it's just like, sadly, that's like that song, "That's Just the Way It Is, Baby." That's, it's one of those things where, somebody might respond to this video and say, "Oh, Edwin, I'm sorry that this is happening to you." But I'll tell you one thing, that person, whoever writes me, or people that write me, that will probably be it for some time, and things will go back to, I put normal, what's normal in my life. They'll show some concern temporarily, and then what will happen is they'll go right, everything will be back to normal again, so to speak, and you'll be, in the same situation, feeling alone and desolate, and I'll be feeling alone and desolate when there's really, there's no reason that should be happening. Every day, I put out, what I think is, not to be arrogant or anything, I put out, quality, astrology videos. And, we could talk about the Facebook algorithm all we want. I mean, that does play a role, but that can't be the entire reason that people aren't hitting like on the posts. It's just the fact that we become apathetic, where we become very engrossed in our own lives, our own interests. We're dominated by self-interest, and sadly, that's what a lot of people are about. And I could become like that at times. Some people I'll feel like we'll have a connection going, and I'll be writing people, and what happens is it'll go on for a few messages, and then it dissipates. The communication goes away. Sometimes it is because of me, because I don't respond, but other times it could be because that other person, just didn't feel like writing me anymore. And there's things about in life we just don't really always understand. People could be going through personal issues. We all go through our trials and tribulations, and that's something that we have to, understand and accept. That a lot of times it's not about us. It's the fact it can be the roll of the die to some degree. that like in my case, I might just have a lot of people in social media that are very much, they're pretty much absorbed in their own thing, and maybe they have personal issues they're dealing with, and what happens is I become an afterthought basically. And when I look back and my birthday, and there were no presents even given on my birthday or offered, or I look back and Christmas, there was really nobody to spend it with, and it's just terrible. Like I'm a case where a classic example, just being a nice person isn't enough, I guess. And you don't have certain things in life. You're at a lower level income. People can be rebuffed, and as a result, will ignore you, and that's what things are about sometimes. And if I want people out there that have been ignored um, by others, I want to let you know that you're not the only one. A lot of times, it may not even be your fault. It could just be the simple fact that we're in a very society again that's dominated by self-interest, um, and unless we're like famous or we're like a significant other to somebody, then we might not always get what we want in terms of the interaction that we feel we deserve. um, Somebody that doesn't do any drugs or no alcohol, I stay out of illegal activities. And I'm clean cut pretty much. I'm a clean person. I'm not disheveled or anything. I don't live a corrupt existence, but sometimes those things are just not enough for some people, and there might be something that might be keeping people at bay that I might not be aware of. It might be something with me. Maybe there's a negative energy with me that I'm not consciously aware of that's repelling people. But the thing is, it just there's things in life that we will just never understand. And if we become somebody that's feels like you become an outcast, it may not always be on you. It might just be the fact that whether it might be your environment, it might be just the wrong people you connected with. Uh, who really knows? But a lot of times it's not even our fault. We might beat ourselves up figuratively speaking and think that it always is, but the only thing you could do is be the best you can. And I'll even put posts on Twitter. Hardly anybody ever likes them. I have I think there's at least 6,000. I forget it. There's at least 6,000. Maybe there might be 7,000 followers I have, and yet hardly anybody even hits like on the posts anymore but me. A lot of things are just very mind-boggling in life, and that certainly is one of them. You'll see people. It's funny. You'll see somebody. It could be a video of somebody falling off a horse, and that might get all kinds of likes. But yet, I'll put a quality, informative astrology video up, and very few people even will hit like on it. Now they might hit like on YouTube, which is still something, but for whatever reason, the likes don't come when I post it on social media pages. So other than what was uploaded to actually on YouTube is what I'm saying, like say Twitter and Facebook. Outside of YouTube, it doesn't really get many likes. So anyway, people, that'll conclude this YouTube segment. Until next time, people, Edwin Learnard saying stay well.